everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, September 5th, 2020. You know, folks, I've mentioned many times that you're probably going to see a lot of my images, if not all of my images, scattered throughout the internet and appearing in other YouTube videos. And, you know, people steal my material all the time, and they make up completely crazy stories. And I just got a text message a little while ago, and I think it was Jeff P. He might be using a new cell phone number, but I'm pretty sure it was Jeff P. Sent me a link to a video and said, "Hey, you better check this out." So, you know, I clicked on the link and started watching it, and what caught my eye was the thumbnail. If you look right down here, you'll see that thumbnail. That thumbnail is one of my processed images from August 31st, 2020. And that's one of our Planet X objects, or our stellar core objects, that I was able to capture on one of the coronagraphs. Well, like I said, folks, people are going to steal my images and make all kinds of claims. But I wanted to share this piece of video with you just to prove this point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this video, and we're going to listen to the narration, and you will get caught up in this man's voice. He's got a very well-educated British accent, and it does get you caught up in the video. Let me go ahead and click on this, and we're going to go ahead and mute that ad. Ooh, man, she's a sexy mama. Too bad we got to skip her. Okay.
See with my eyes.
Let me go ahead and back this up a little bit. I'm going to get to the point where he starts talking about the video, and I'll let it play, and you guys can check this out. Now, he claims that somebody emailed him this photograph, and then in the email, the person goes on to claim that they photographed this object with their little backyard telescope. We all know that's completely impossible. Number one, these Planet X objects, these stellar cores, whatever they may be, call it what you may, they definitely do not give off their own light. And if anything, they barely reflect light, except during these coronal mass ejections, when they're encased in the spewing plasma coming from the sun. As I've also mentioned, I do believe, it is my hypothesis, that these objects come so close to the sun, probably within a few 100,000 miles, and they literally pull plasma from the sun. And that is what creates the coronal mass ejection, also known as what we call a CME. And over the course of the last couple of years, I have defined this. I have showed the evidence over and over and over again. No, the photographs are not doctored. However, nobody has access to the software that I've been using to clear these photographs up and reveal what is actually in these coronagraph images. And that, to me, is a complete breakthrough. And we're going to get to this video, and you guys just go ahead and listen to it.
And they discover massive objects close to the sun. Interestingly, NASA have come forward over the years and said these are nothing more than anomalies, and that sometimes strange shapes appear due to processing errors. So what happens then when someone captures a large object close to the sun through their telescope? One individual sent me the following email. I thought you would find this image interesting. It was posted to various groups I follow, and many people on there couldn't seem to agree on what it was, although the majority of them said it doesn't look natural. The story behind this photo states that someone was looking through their telescope when they noticed a large object close to the sun. At the time they had a filter on their telescope and was able to see something massive. They quickly snapped an image, and could once again see the large object sitting close to the sun. The individual said though they had no idea what this was, and how something so big was just sitting there. This object is massive. They were quoted as saying the following: "After seeing this massive object, I knew I had to quickly snap a photograph. I've been looking through my telescope for well over a year now and have never seen anything like this. This couldn't have been a processing error as the image wasn't passed through anything. This was what I could see with my eyes, and then this was taken via a camera device that attaches to the telescope. I'm not looking to get deep into any theories. I'm just looking for an answer for what this giant object could be." End quote. As you can imagine, this caused a variety of different theories to be put forward, with some suggesting that what the person captured was some type of massive UFO. Although it sounds far-fetched, theorists have said that one of the best places to capture UFOs is that of the sun and moon, saying that many strange unidentified...
Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video now. This video was just uploaded, no, not too long ago, maybe less than an hour ago. And you can see the date down here, September 5th. And you can see the amount of views already, 33,127 views at the point where I'm making this video right now. I've mentioned to all of you many times over the years and just recently how bad my YouTube channels are censored. I am censored everywhere I go, whether it is on Twitter, whether it is on Facebook, even Google. It's just a fact. Why would they censor my YouTube channel? Why would they censor me on Facebook? Why would they censor me on Twitter and Google? Why would they dethrottle all of my pages and my websites? One simple reason is I bring you the truth. And the truth is coming out about Google and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And that is all related to the 2020 upcoming elections. But they do it to many other people. Many other truthers. Just not me. But they sure as hell do not want you to believe or understand or educate yourself to the fact of the matter that our solar system has been invaded by another system. A system of objects that we do not know exactly what they are as of yet. Now, I'm sure that NASA and the ESA, the European Space Agency, and probably Russia and China probably have a really good idea of the composition of some of these objects and possibly what they even are. But as I've said many times before, you will find my images floating around the internet and people making up a variety of stories, calling it Nibiru, calling it Nemesis, calling it Wormwood, which is just an absolute complete farce. I don't believe in wormwood. Wormwood was only mentioned in the Bible a few times. I just don't believe it. Who knows what it is actually referencing? But some people like to build upon it and create a story. And, the story is meant to create possibly a fear within you and also to attract your attention. But anyways, this video, I emailed the gentleman very nicely. And I also left a few comments under the video. And there were several comments under the video. Here are the comments that I left. And I just basically told him, the photo used in your video belongs to me. I've been researching Planet X for 22 years. I've developed a way to capture the objects almost on a daily basis. I've written 14 books on the subject. You can visit my YouTube channel to check out further mind-blowing evidence. And the email that you received about this photo was a complete lie. You're not going to see this massive object with any ground-based telescope. That's a fact. And it is a fact. It does not give off or reflect light. Only during the times of these coronal mass ejections. And that is the way that I learned over the years to detect this object. And the reason being is because we are in a solar minimum, where the sun's activity should be at a very low level, and it has not been. We've had almost daily coronal mass ejections. Not very many sunspots due to the solar minimum, but the sun's activity has been intense during this solar minimum. As I've mentioned before, what my biggest fear is what's going to happen whenever we move into this solar maximum. Now, that's going to be something to really see. Let me show you guys something real quick. Just jump over here real fast, and I took a snapshot the other day of the Solar Cycle 25 forecast update. And this was released December 9th, 2019. There really hasn't been any more updates on this as of yet. Solar Cycle 25 is when the sun is going to be reaching solar maximum, okay? And solar minimum, solar maximum, they last approximately 11 years. And you can see here where it says the Solar Cycle 25 will have a peak at 115 plus or minus 10 in July of 2025. Okay, so that is about 4.5 years away. I put these arrows in here, and I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in a little bit more. And here we are right there where I placed this arrow. We're right at the end of 2020, moving into 2021. The solar cycle max, which will be the solar maximum, will be July of 2025. Okay, that's when the predicted maximum between those 11 years, okay, that will be the maximum peak in 2025. Here we are right now, going into 2021. So we are only creeping very slowly into this solar maximum. What is going to really occur when the sun wakes up completely wakes up, and we start to have coronal mass ejections, X-flares, massive filaments being released from the sun, just like the other day. I showed you guys a video of that huge filament that popped off of the sun. It was estimated to be 443,000 miles long, almost half of the size and diameter of our sun. And then, you start creeping into the 1850s Carrington event. Back then, having a solar storm affect the Earth wasn't that big of a deal, because at that time in the 1850s, well, they were just using telegraph wires. Now, the entire Earth depends on its electrical grid and electronics and all of the satellites surrounding this planet. A massive solar storm, filament release, or X-flare, like we had in 2017, I believe. It was a magnitude 9.3 as far as rating these X-flares. I have a short video of it. I'll show you guys. If something like that occurs, well, that has the possibility of wiping out a very large portion of the electrical grid on this planet. And it's not like they're going to be able to fix it in a few months. You're talking possibly years, if not a decade, before that is repaired. That is one of the biggest fears. And, interruptions to what we used to have as a normal climate and the changing of the seasons. See, folks, that's all going bye-bye. If you're in your, say, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s, you remember what the climate was like. But if you're in your, teens and early 20s and even early 30s, you possibly don't even remember. But I do. And we're going to see more and more and more of these changes as time goes on. And over the course of the next 4 years, 5 years, we're going to be seeing changes here on this planet like you have never seen before. I'm not fear-mongering. I'm telling you the absolute truth. And we still do not know what these objects are going to do, the influence that they are going to have on the sun, therefore having a massive influence on our planet. We do not know what is going to happen yet. But I'm sure that the majority of all of us are going to live through it, hopefully. But I wanted to show you what these X-flares look like. Let me go ahead and jump out of here. And just let me jump out of here real quick, and we can move over to the screenshots, and I'll bring up that that photo. Oh, I didn't want to be an editor here. Hold on a second. Oops, I just had it. So here was the photograph that they were referencing in that video. And a few people, they did comment about these other little smaller white dots that you see. Another one down here. There looks like there's one right up around here. And we could move to a more defined, blown up version of it. And once again, it looks very, very similar to the photograph that I captured back in the beginning of July. The one that BP Earthwatch had a shit fit over and called it fake and blah, 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 just because he doesn't have the proper software to define the photograph and he doesn't know what he's doing. So once again, 1, 2, 3, there looks like there's a small one there, but it's kind of encapsulated in the gas and the energy that's being pushed out by the sun in the form of this coronal mass ejection. And you could see this object is clearly enveloped in that coronal mass ejection. So basically those coronal mass ejections are lighting this object up. It is like our flashlight, our Planet X flashlight to the stars, if you want to call it that. There looks like there's another spherical object right there. So there's a very, very high possibility that one of these massive objects has, I don't want to use the word planets, but we'll just say for reference purposes, smaller planets or moons or objects, whatever the hell they are, they seem to be orbiting this object. A lot of people say, oh, that can't be possible, Scott. You can't have an object that close to the sun, blah, 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 blah. Well, what do you know? Well, I'll tell you what I know. It is completely physically possible. We don't really know how far this object is from the sun We do know that it is in a very eccentric and elliptical orbit, dropping below the ecliptic and then coming back up. Why do you think that we see the coronal mass ejections right near the equatorial region of the sun, the middle part of the sun? Because as it comes up, it's getting very, very close to the eastern limb of the sun. It loops back around in the matter of days. It's coming back down very, very quickly. And where is it coming down? On the eastern limb of the sun, equatorial point, boom, coronal mass ejection. So we know that much. I wish we knew what these objects exactly were. There's no doubt in my mind that they are definitely having an influence on the sun. During this solar minimum, I don't even know how many coronal mass ejections I've recorded. A lot. Let's just put it that way. And that all started back in 2016. And that's when I started recording them. And then in 2017 and 18, that's when I really started to notice that something odd was happening during this solar minimum cycle. And then lo and behold, I started putting it all together and created a way to detect these objects. The new software that's being used to peel back these layers of interference in these coronagraphs has been vital. And it's not a Photoshop program, folks, like all of these dumb comments in the comment section. Oh, that picture's Photoshopped. I don't own Photoshop. And even if you did have a Photoshop program and you were able to doctor the photographs, you would be able to tell immediately. They would look like pure shit. Now, many times, every single video that I show you guys, I show you zoomed in photographs. When I post the photographs, I show you guys, when I post it to the Planet X News private network, which, hey, if you guys are not members of for the $5 a month, I would join now, because once again, you know, I've had to move to my secondary channel. The main Planet X News channel, they have so highly censored, it is absolutely pathetic. People are not getting notifications. They don't see my videos. There are some countries on this planet where people cannot see Planet X News. So make sure you're subscribed to the secondary channel and make sure your notifications are set up correctly. But in due time, folks, you know, they may get a bug up their ass and decide to start deleting channels again. And then where do we go from there? So if you want to keep up on all of the news and information related to this subject matter, and you could afford the $5 a month, the link's in the description box under the video, Planet X News private network, and I post all of these images and much more there. And I don't have to worry about being censored. I don't have to worry about being trolled or bothered. Same applies to you guys. But getting back to this, look, you can see these smaller objects. Seems to be one here, but it's just not that clear. But it is amazing, absolutely amazing. And earlier, Mark over at Wages World was doing a live stream very early this morning, and I was up getting some work done. And I'm one of the moderators on his YouTube channel, like he is on mine. And he was going over some space weather and basically being a teacher and informing everybody about what's upcoming. And I just happened to be looking at some Sept coronagraph images, and I was going back because Sept uploads the data, a week later sometimes, and you have to basically go back in time. So I was thumbing through the coronagraph images, and on August 28th, 2020, look at this big shadowy character. Let's zoom in on it. Doesn't look like much, but that's pretty odd, don't you think? It's not very defined. and I can't really say what the hell it is. But it's round. It's quite a ways away from the sun, but not that far. So what the hell is it? Oh, it's not a lens flare. These lens flares are not occurring in space with coronagraphs. That's a fact. Is it a particle? If that's a particle, very close to the detectors on the coronagraph, it would have to be a pretty damn big particle. So I don't know what the hell it is. Shadow? There really aren't shadows in space. The camera might have caught something that it wasn't supposed to catch. I don't know. That was the only image that was available on the coronagraph during that short time span and time-lapse clip. But it's pretty amazing, you know. It might not seem like that much to you guys, but to me, oh, that's an incredible capture. Pretty cool looking. But, you know, I really wanted to go over that photograph that was being used in this video. Something massive has been observed behind our sun during the daytime. And, you know, the guy does a pretty good job of narrating the video. And if in fact he's telling the truth about somebody emailing him my photograph and claiming that it was theirs, well, that's just a complete lie. And something else, you know, the man who sent the image into this YouTube channel claimed that he was using his telescope with a very sophisticated piece of camera equipment attached to the telescope and blah, blah, blah. Trust me, folks. I've peered into many telescopes over the years. This is not an image that you get from a telescope. This is an image you get from space through a coronagraph, a telescopic image, and an instrument on a space probe called the Stereo Core 2 Stereo A. It just amazes me that how people take the photographs that I capture and they make up stories. And they get all the views. You know, when I talk about views, I'm not crying like a baby because, you know, I want to make YouTube money. No, I want to inform people. I want to educate people. I want people to know. I want people to understand what we're looking at. Why is it there? How did it get there? We have a lot of questions. We're looking for answers. But that's the bottom line. Incredible. Over the last couple of days, no information, if you look right here on the SEEDS coronagraph page, no data once again has been uploaded for the 3rd of September, the 4th, or the 5th. I've been waiting on this data to come in, and you know, once again, here we go with them playing these games. But the sun has been pretty active. We could look at September 1st, and you could see some activity. When you see that flashing like that in these coronagraphs, it's just not the camera imaging. There is activity that's coming from the sun. When you see the flashing like that, it's coming towards you, meaning it is coming towards the Earth. And if you start looking at some of the space weather over the last couple of days going back to September 1st, you will see some of these larger waves of solar wind coming towards the Earth. And, you know, they'll be impacting That's not going to change. But whenever we do move into that solar maximum, I think that we are going to see a massive uptick in volcanic activity and earthquake activity on this planet. And I think that we are going to see some very, very extreme weather changes. So extreme that it's going to blow people's minds. And it's probably going to create a lot of emergency situations around the world. There's just no doubt about it. We could look at the second and see what was happening there. And again, you see a coronal mass ejection forming there. I mean, again, where is it occurring? The coronal mass ejection is occurring on the eastern limb of the sun. At this point, we're looking at the LASCO C2 in a difference model, meaning the black and white. This is showing you particles. And what looks to be something emerging right there within this coronal mass ejection looks very, very suspicious. Some YouTube space weather scientists claim that it's a plasma ball. Yeah, okay. Tell us some more stories. Definitely ain't a plasma ball. But you could see something emerging there. It's very, very unclear. We did try to unmask a little bit to see if there was anything suspicious within this coronagraph image. And you can see down here where I'm circling the counter and the frames, only 79 frames. Usually we get about 150, about double this amount, sometimes even more, close to 180 to 200 frames. And this was several days ago. And the frames, they have not increased them. So that means that this is all we are going to get. And there may have been some critical information that they just failed to upload and we're not going to see. That's all I could say about that subject matter. And then we could see the third, the fourth, and the fifth, nothing. Now, those additional frames that I was just talking about for September 2nd, they would probably be included in the beginning of the frames on the 3rd. And Lord knows what would have been visible on the 4th and the 5th. So that's sometimes how it goes. Whenever I revealed the information about the software that I was given and got a lot of help on this unmasking process, maybe that wasn't a really good idea to divulge that information. Because the last couple of times that I divulged critical information like that, mysteriously things started to get, let's just say, bad. Like for instance on the Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO. For years, the resolution was great, was fantastic. And then in 2017, after I made some pretty critical discoveries, literally showing this object blowing through the sun's corona, within due time, the resolution went to crap. It's blurry. There's not really much you can do with it. The only way to obtain high definition imagery from the Solar Dynamics Observatory is if they post it on one of the NASA YouTube channels. And they sure as hell aren't going to show you what I show you. That's a fact. Anyways, folks, that's all I have for you guys. Mark over at Wages World did a fantastic job on a live stream earlier talking about some space weather. If you guys are not subscribed to Mark's channel, I will leave a link to his channel in the comment section under this video. and I'll pin it to the top. So you guys should go over there and definitely subscribe to Mark's channel. He does a fantastic job. He just got the software and some equipment to do some live streaming, and I think he's going to be doing a lot more of that in the very, very near future. He did a great job with his first live stream earlier this morning. But, you guys that follow Planet X News, you all know what my images look like. And if you see any of my images floating around social media, the internet, or on YouTube, I would like for you to notify me. The email for Planet X News is right in the description box under all of my videos. All of the information that you need for Planet X News, everything is in that description box under my videos. Access to the websites, access to the private network if you want to join, all of the books that me and Dr. Elbers wrote over the course of the last couple of years. Everything is right there for you to access. So anyways, folks, I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to show you this because this, it did irk me a little bit. And I do believe this guy's story that somebody did email him the photograph with the little storyline behind it. But we know that's not true. And I will also leave a link to this video in the comment section. And if you guys want to watch the entire video and make some comments under this video, just be sure to tell the content creator that his image is from Planet X News. And if he wants definitive evidence of these objects orbiting our sun, then the real deal is to go to Planet X News. And you'll find it right there. All right, folks, listen, it's Labor Day weekend. Everybody be very, very, very safe out there on the roads. And you will hear from me very, very soon. Take care, folks. Over and out.